The Domenick Natty Show on Intellectual Radio in Chicago and iHeartRadio. This is Domenick Natty, the king of contacts, and I have the man himself, a legend in sports marketing and marketing in general. Dave Meltzer is with us today. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm great, Domenick, man. Most people are nervous when they talk to you. I've gotten even you seem a little nervous. Like, hey, have you heard about my background? I just have to tell you, look, the truth vibrates the fastest. And what I like about what you try to do is just get to the truth. And unfortunately, we have to be careful on what we say, and some people can't talk about certain things. And I like the fact that you push the envelope a little bit. And as long as you don't hurt anyone, I'm all for it.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And that is something that we always like to do. So softballs first.
All right.
Now, what have you done? Who have you worked with in sports that we'll know of?
Oh, my gosh. So I worked with Lee Steinberg, Sports and Entertainment. Lee Steinberg, they made the movie Jerry Maguire after. So, we at Lee's office worked with any big name you can think of. I mean, my own business partners, Warren Moon, Troy Aikman, Steve Young, Sabathia Ramirez, until they sold the baseball practice, Vander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. The list can go. They had 8 first picks. But football, probably the #1 football agent of all time. In fact, Lee today still, who's a friend who we consult with, Warren and I, represents Patrick Mahomes, who's the MVP of the Super Bowl.
So
the league.
Oh,
yeah, not the Super
That's
Bowl.
A prediction.
Sorry, Tom Brady.
Yes,
prediction.
It's prediction. Chiefs all the way.
Yeah.
So I started off in sports, believe it or not, and I found it didn't really work out so much with PR because a lot of them didn't like the negative attention. And a lot of them were difficult to deal with. So I've been doing this for 13 years, and the person that I hated meeting the most was Steve Smith, wide receiver. Now, I don't know if he's involved with what you're doing.
No, but I met him, yeah.
And he's a jerk. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to make you say that.
I got my own jerk story.
Yeah?
I'll go ahead and tell. As long as you let me tell the most positive and jerk story real quick.
Yes, we'll do positive and negative.
All right, good.
We're looking forward to the negative.
Quickly positive and negative together. I was a ball boy for the San Diego Clippers when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
First game, it's the Lakers versus the Clippers. I get the visiting locker room. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the biggest jerk in the world to me.
Really?
Boy, and I really didn't know what I was doing. It was my first day, and I know how intense he is. I'm older now, but I was 12 years old, 4 feet 6, 78 pounds.
Yeah.
I went home crying and wanting to quit. That was my dream job. I grew up with 6 kids, a single mom. My mom bent over backwards to get me this position, begged the trainer, worked so hard. And I came home crying to quit. My mom made me go back, said we don't quit. The next game was Dr. J, 76ers versus the Clippers. I got the visiting locker room. Dr. J came right up to me. I was gun shy, like he was going to hit me. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought all superstars were jerks like Kareem. Nope. Big hand on my back. Son, you see those socks over there? Grab those. How many siblings do you have? Let me sign those for you.
Really?
Oh, my God. So who would ever thought that I would be a notable person in sports, have any influence? One of the most common questions I get is, who was the coolest guy that you've ever met in all the cool people, right? And I've met so many.
Oh, yeah.
And I always say, Dr. J. And when I talk, who we're friends now, I said, who would have thought when Lee Steinberg says, be kind to your future self, that I'm living proof of that you were kind to a 12-year-old little boy who now, for free, promotes you all over the world as the coolest guy in all of sports.
Yes, that's true.
And I promote Kareem for being a jerk as the biggest jerk in
So
sports.
That's the biggest jerk you've ever met. By far.
And other people have told me the same thing.
He's
mean.
He's a mean, and you were a kid, 12 years old, and 12. He's bossing you and called you boy.
Oh yeah, yelled at me and called me and I'm not sensitive. My football coach just shook my helmet and called me the P word. I come from old school. I'm 51 years old, but man, if you had a video of it, it would have been incredible.
To a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, thank God they didn't have cell phones back then.
What about wide receivers, right? So I have met a bunch of them. And I don't know what it is about this position and what happens when you can catch a football, but it seems to turn you into a dick. I don't know. I don't understand it. It's I don't know. People don't. I tell people, because I'm not a huge sports fan anymore.
So
and then I watch it it'll be on in the cigar shop with my friends. I was like, what is wrong with wide receivers? So am I crazy?
I'll tell you
you're an expert.
Yeah,
what
let me tell you the energy of it. Now, they all want the ball.
Yeah.
Their position, their whole career depends on them getting the ball and being open. And you could hear stories from top to bottom of these guys coming back to the huddle. And it's like, throw me the ball, man. I'm wide open. Throw me the ball. And Warren's like, dude, it's a run play. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
So I think that scarce energy, that's self-preservation, solo. I'm a king alone. You can see AB right now, Antonio Brown, right? That's not really a cool thing that he did.
Yeah.
Right? That's all predetermined, pre-mixed up. That's not the integral way to go.
Okay. Homosexuality in the NFL is becoming, you're hearing about it more and more. Now, you've been working in the industry for a long time. So was homosexuality an issue and something that happened while you, like, this whole time, and now you're seeing it more? Or is it really just that people are coming out at the moment?
It's always existed. So if it's always existed, homosexuality has always existed. It existed in the NFL, in the MLB, in the NHL, in the NBA. It exists everywhere. And so obviously we had certain cultural and socioeconomic restraints and branding and marketing that people felt like they couldn't come out. And that's whether it was in the entertainment industry, which you were able to come out earlier.
Sure.
Because, in fact, RuPaul, who went to my high school, right? But I literally believe that, we're moving towards being more open and truthful about who we are, and hopefully more accepting on who we are, for everybody to be supportive of everyone, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. So for example, I don't want to see you kissing your wife in front of me, tongues all over each other. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I also don't want to see two women or two men, tongues all over each other, sitting on an airplane right in front of me either. People mistake all of that, and then they think it's offensive. Or it's not the homosexuality that's offensive. It's there's appropriate behavior for your home and
Right.
for the public.
Now, is there anyone that has not come out that you know of?
Great question.
He's not going to answer this.
Good.
That you know of that.
Besides my boyfriend, I can't talk to you about him. Yeah. Don't tell my wife.
Is there anyone that you know of that's like, this person we knew the whole time? Or
I will tell you this. There's multiple people in the NFL today and before that a ton of players were like, oh, yeah, he's a homosexual. Like more than one player. Now, I have no witness and have never seen it. So the only one I know of is Michael Sam's, because he admits to it himself.
Yeah.
But yes, there absolutely are, homosexuality exists in all sports, in all businesses. I'm sure it exists in my office as well. We're just more open. I'd like to say I'm a trisexual. I'll try anything.
Yeah.
So hopefully I won't offend anyone.
don't knock it till you try it. If there is homosexuality in the locker room, is there sexual harassment or unwanted advancements that happens from one player to another? Have you ever heard of anything like that?
Wow. No, that's interesting. I haven't heard that.
Okay.
But that's not to say that we won't see it in the future.
Yeah.
But I have never.
Because they're
heard
showering together, right?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. It's and I'm not sure. Like the locker rooms have changed a lot from literally when I was a ball boy at the San Diego Clippers, which was 39 years ago.
Yeah.
It was the movies, like Porky's or whatever. Remember, there's like one pole with 4 showers on it. So not only are you showering together,
Yeah.
like you're all staring at, you're
Yeah.
you're literally showering together.
Yeah.
I don't think those exist
So
anymore. but
you actually get some privacy now in the shower.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, racism in sports.
Oh, yeah.
So
big issue for me.
Okay. Now, why would you say it's a big issue for you, and how much of this is factual and that happens every day?
It's very personal to me because my business partner is Warren Moon. And so many people have forgotten the fact that Warren Moon could not play quarterback in the NFL for 6 years, even though he was talented enough. They made him play in Canada because nobody wanted to have an African-American as the face of a franchise, even though obviously he was quite qualified to be quarterback in the NFL and proved it for 17 years after he won 5 Grey Cups and played as MVP in the CFL. Racism exists just like homosexuality everywhere. Because of social media and the presence of this amplification and perpetuation, we now have a visual of what racism has existed and does still exist, whether it be in sports or not. And so the reason I call it a big issue is that I wanted with Warren to make, for example, in the NFL, we never wanted to hear black quarterback again. I like short quarterback, dumb quarterback.
Yeah.
Well,
fat. Yeah, some could run, some can't. Yeah,
exactly.
some scramble.
Weak arm.
Yeah.
Bad processing speed. And I think in our careers, we worked really hard, Warren and I both, that now very few people mention, oh, he's an African American.
Yeah.
Because most quarterbacks could be any color. Nobody even cares anymore. That's a major advancement. But there's no doubt that racism exists in all sports.
Is Kaepernick getting blacklisted because he knelt, or is he just not that good?
So he's not a starting quarterback talent. But I will tell you this. Here's the problem with Kaepernick, is that instead of taking a positive route, right, instead of saying, hey, Black matters, I want to make a statement with my platform that I've been given as the quarterback of a team, and going to his agent, going to the owner, going to the commissioner and saying, what can we work out here that would be positive? Instead, unilaterally, without thinking, he kind of created a negative action that could be misinterpreted for a positive purpose. And I think that a lot of players should take heed and lessons from Kaepernick that, hey, there's great ways out there to use your platform to get your point across. Get help. Use the platform in a positive way so there isn't any misinterpretation.
Have you witnessed racism firsthand where you're sitting there? What is your heritage?
I'm Jewish as a religion,
okay.
But I have witnessed a ton of racism.
So if people said to you specifically, like, oh, another white person, just like, hey, and then have you heard people use the N-word?
Yes.
Okay.
Still today.
Who was it?
You know what? There's so many people that have, and of all colors, right? White people have said it. African Americans have said it. And I was someone who grew up in the era of, the early days rap music and
Sure.
NWA and, all of this. And my mom would tell me, don't sing those songs, right? It's just as bad that they're saying the words as anyone else because it makes it okay.
Yeah.
And anything that, like I said, harms people, I'm not for.
Right.
And so I'm very attentive of it. And look, I keep on making this parallel. Anything that happens outside of a locker room is happening inside a locker room. Every single thing. It's a microcosm of life. So anything good that you can think about is happening in that locker room. Same with all the bad stuff.
And football is a lot of interracial, right? Well, just really with two races mostly,
Yeah.
right? So you've seen white players be racist or use the N-word about another player, or have you seen upper management do that, or are they?
I've seen upper management, I've seen executives use the N-words inappropriately, mostly out of an ignorance of culture.
Now they're saying the 6-letter N-word, not the 5-letter.
Yeah.
Right? They're not trying. Yeah, not the rap type.
No, not the rap. The
like,
one that ends in the R.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, I've heard it through the years, less and less now because
Right.
people are tiptoeing and making sure they're doing the right things, which is that this part's okay with me.
Yeah.
I think we're hypersensitive on a lot of issues and it goes both ways, but this one to me, I don't think the N-word should be used in any format.
Yeah.
Whether it's an R or an A at the end.
Right.
I just think it's ignorant. There's
Yeah.
better words to use.
So, drug use.
You're not used
right?
to everyone answering your questions.
What? Drug use in sports, right? So we had Baron Davis on the show, and I talked to
love the guy.
and Ricky Williams, right?
Client of ours and went to my high school. Great guy.
Awesome guy,
Yeah.
right? So I asked them both about marijuana, and they both had a similar question, or a similar response, where it helps them and helps with concussions, these different areas. So should drug use be allowed in professional sports? And if so, which drugs do you think should be allowed and which drugs should not be allowed?
My morality sits with following the law. So if CBD is legal, then that should be legal. Now, where it gets difficult is the legal drugs that are performance enhancing.
Right.
And so my opinion throughout history is why not allow anything legal to be used by everyone?
Yeah. The book is Game Time Decision Making. It's available now on Amazon. You said it's a #1 bestseller.
New release bestseller.
New release bestseller on Amazon. And then where can fans keep up with you on social media?
Thanks for asking. It's just my name. So if they remember David Meltzer, at David Meltzer on Instagram and LinkedIn and YouTube, David Meltzer, DAVID. My website's DMeltzer, first initial, last name.
He did it. David Meltzer, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Dom.
Yes.
Great having